why your SaaS business is not getting enough leads, and how to fix it. Okay, so let's get stuck into this. So first slide about me. So my name's Ryan. I'm the founder of Rocket SaaS. We are a marketing agency for B2B SaaS companies. I have scaled my business. I bootstrapped it from nothing. We're about to cross over £2 million in annual recurring revenue. And I've done it 100% with inbound marketing. So all of the marketing strategies and tactics and techniques and channels that we've used to successfully grow the business, we teach and we implement into our clients. A lot of our clients are going on a very similar growth journey. I'm also the host of the SaaS Marketing Weekly podcast. So if you like this webinar, if you think, yep, he seems to know what he's talking about when it comes to SaaS marketing, then please do check out the podcast. It goes out every Tuesday. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the usual places where you would find your podcasts. So that's enough about me. Let's get into what we're going to be learning about today. So things we're going to cover. We're going to cover a few things. Should take about half an hour or so, I reckon. Then we'll do some Q&A at the end. So first thing is we're going to look at traffic versus conversion percentage. Then we're going to look at improving the value proposition and the messaging. We're going to look at some product-led marketing and how you can really improve that. Product market fit. That's a big problem I see with a lot of clients. How can you sort that out? Repurposing social proof, offering immediate value, and a little bit on retargeting ads at the end. And all of these 7 things here are designed to basically get you more leads. So let's start by talking about traffic versus conversion percentage. Now, I know as like founders of businesses, or if you're a marketer of a business, sometimes growth and marketing can be very overwhelming. You have got so many different things that you could do or that you want to do. You know, oh, there's LinkedIn ads, there's retargeting ads, maybe we should do meta ads, or what about that new AI platform, or that maybe we should do a cold email channel, or we should kick off a webinar series, podcast. There's just so much going on that sometimes you really need to step back and you really need to look at the basics and then start working on those. So that is what this chapter is about. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to get more leads is understand what is your current conversion percentage. So what percentage is your website converting? So you do a simple calculation. You look at how many conversions your website is getting per month, divided by the number of website visitors you're getting in the same period. Then you multiply that number by 100. And that will give you a percentage. So for example, if your website got 15 demos per month and you got 1,000 website visitors per month, take that number, times it by 100, and then you get your conversion percentage. In this example, it's 1.5%. Now, if you look at the right-hand side, this is the averages. These are the industry averages for B2B SaaS companies. A bad B2B SaaS website will be converting at less than 1%. The average B2B SaaS website will be converting at 1.2%, a good website 2 to 5%, and an excellent website will be converting at 5%. Most of you on this call, by law of averages, will be in the average. You'll be probably somewhere between 1 and 2%. Okay, so we obviously want to get that percentage higher. Now, how do you double your monthly leads? You've got 2 options to double your monthly leads. Option 1 is you double your traffic, or option 2 is you double your conversion percentage. Now, for some reason, a lot of people seem to default to option 1. A lot of people, a lot of business owners or marketers spend all of their attention and all of their focus on more traffic, spending more money on ads, trying new different ads, trying a different ads channel, investing in SEO, or doing more organic content. It's time consuming, it can be very expensive, and it's in my opinion, it's not usually the right approach. You should start by trying to double your conversion rate percentage, particularly if you're on a small budget, which I think, you know, most people on this call, most B2B SaaS founders, marketers of early stage businesses, you're not going to have these huge budgets. So you can focus on doubling your conversion rate of your website, and you can do that in-house, and it's very low cost. So that's what we're going to cover in this chapter, is how can you increase your conversion percentage. So the analogy that I like to use is that your business is like a leaky bucket. So prospects are coming into your website, which is represented by this water going into the bucket. and then people are not converting. They are leaking out of your bucket because they've decided to not book a demo, not do a free trial, not book a sales call. And there's obviously multiple reasons as to why people will leak out of your bucket, or people will choose not to convert. So you have two options. If the goal is to fill up the bucket to the top, which represents loads of leads, loads of growth, you've got two options here. Option one is you increase the water intake, which is representative of increasing the traffic. Or option two, you plug the holes, which will increase the conversion percentage. So any logical engineer would look at this problem and go, I'll fill the holes first, and then I'll add more water. And it's the same thing with growing a business. You should try and focus on plugging the holes first. Okay, so let's go through some examples of some of the holes that your bucket might have. So reasons why people don't convert. I'm going to give you 15 reasons why people don't convert. And if you go through each of these 15 things and you focus on improving all of them, or the majority of them, you will increase your conversion percentage and you therefore will get leads. It's as simple as that when you break it down. So lack of clear value proposition, lacking product information, unclear product fit, missing social proof, no immediate value, a confusing or overwhelming website design, unclear calls to action, slow website load times, poor user experience, too much technical jargon, lack of trust signals, no clear pricing information, unattractive offers, complex sign-up forms, or visitors don't see the immediate ROI. Those are, the list does go on longer than that, but those are the most common 15 things that I see with B2B SaaS companies. Those are the reasons why people are falling out the bucket, they're not converting. So like I said, if you work through those one by one, you are going to get more leads. In this webinar, I'm not going to go through all of them, otherwise we'll be here all day. I'm just going to go through the top 5. And those are ordered. Those top 5 are the ones that I consider to be of the most value. If you can sort those 5 out, you are on your way to doubling your conversion percentage, therefore doubling your number of leads. So the first one, lack of clear value proposition. So if you've consumed my content before, if you've been on these webinars before, if you've listened to the podcast, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you will hear me talking about value proposition and messaging all the time, because it is the number 1, 2, and 3 biggest problem that I see with all B2B SaaS companies. For some reason, they're very, very bad at describing themselves, which is a big problem for marketing, because your messaging and your value proposition is the core piece of all of your marketing. So you must sort this out. You must fix it. And thankfully, on this webinar, I've got some frameworks that you can use and you can implement that will really, really help you with this. So first of all, if you're not aware, what is a value proposition? It is a clear statement that explains how your SaaS product solves a customer's problem, how it benefits them, and how it differentiates you from your competitors. The benefits of having a really good value proposition is it prevents confusion, the whole I don't get it. I would probably say about 19 out of 20 SaaS websites that I go on, I'm confused. I don't get it. I look at it, I think I understand what they do broadly, but the penny's not dropped for me here. I'm not quite getting it. And if your prospects are in that mindset, if people are coming onto your website, have got that feeling of confusion and just not quite getting it, they're not going to book a demo. And so it's just absolutely critical. They're also going to bounce. They're going to bounce off your website straight away, and they're probably not going to come back because they're going to remember that they checked you out once, didn't like it, didn't get it, so they're not coming back. So it will prevent confusion, it will lower your bounce rates, and it will increase your conversions. So let's get into those frameworks. So I've got 3 example frameworks here of how you can sort out your value proposition. The first one, the classic, problem, solution, benefit. So I've written an example here. So let's say that you are a CRM SaaS platform. The problem is a bit in pink, struggling with lead generation. The solution, our CRM automates lead scoring and follow-up, and the benefit helps you close deals 30% faster. So that framework works really, really well. That is always the go-to that we use here at Rocket SaaS when we take on a client and we have to work on messaging. I always start there. It's a classic like psychological journey you want to take the user from. Problem, because people connect better with problems. If you just start talking about yourself, then people don't connect with that as well. If you start talking about them and their problems, so struggling with lead generation, or struggling with employee churn, or struggling with admin time on XYZ, that's how you really connect with people. And then you tell the solution, and then you tell the benefit. That's the journey you want to take people on. So start with that one. But there's also this one, which is really good. We help X do Y by doing Z. An example, we help X is we help HR departments do Y, improve employee engagement by doing Z, by automating feedback and performance reviews. So if I was a HR manager and I was struggling with employee engagement, and I knew that my feedback and performance reviews were taking too long, which is just a classic problem that HR people have, and I read that statement on the homepage of a website, I'd be like, perfect. This is me all over. I'm booking a demo. So that's a really great framework. And then finally, the AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. It's a little bit longer, this one, but this one works particularly well. So attention is like a hook, like grabbing people's attention. And that's where you can use a fact or a stat. So this one example, the attention grabber, a 10-minute delay can lead, sorry, a 10-minute delay in lead follow-up can reduce sales success by 400%. Those are some big numbers in there. That is a big attention-grabbing hook. And then interest, but our automation platform ensures real-time responses. Desire, keeping you ahead of the competition. And the action point is try it for free today. So I'd recommend you use those frameworks. Something that you may notice on all three of those frameworks and all three of those examples is the content is very much does what it says on the tin. There's no clever buzzwords, there's no phrases. Like anyone in any kind of industry would be able to read those sentences and they'd be able to get it and they'd be able to understand it. They wouldn't be left confused. So use one of these frameworks, use a very much of a does what it says on the tin approach, and you'll have a really strong value proposition. So in terms of where to use your value proposition, these are the sorts of sentences, headers that I'd expect to see on the homepage of the website. Right at the very top on the hero banner, they work very well in those sorts of locations. This bottom one is probably a little bit long, but certainly these top two would work very well in that kind of position. So yeah, give it a go. Have a go yourself, I would recommend. But if you're really struggling, then get AI to support you. So you can put these frameworks into ChatGPT, you can describe the business of ChatGPT, you can give it the website, you can give it your existing copy, and you can say, please, can you take our copy, take our website and put it into these frameworks? And it'll give you some really interesting responses. And then obviously you can tweak them and pick your favorite ones from there. But yeah, that's one of my favorite exercises to go through. And that will improve your conversion rates if you can get that right. But don't just stop there. Do not just do a value proposition, stick it at the top of your homepage and expect your conversion rates to double. You've got to go a lot further than that. If you've got a poor value proposition, probably your whole messaging is going to be poor. So you need to go through the whole site, all of your marketing, all of your sales decks, and use similar frameworks to improve everything. And this, as I keep saying, is the number one thing that is going to get you more conversions by having better messaging. So the value proposition sets the tone. So use the frameworks in other areas of the marketing and the sales. So you can use the problem, solution, benefit framework to describe all of your features. You can apply the we help X or do Y by doing Z. You can do that to describe specific use cases. You can even leverage the AIDA framework for ads, emails, landing pages. That framework works particularly well for those assets because it's got that attention grabbing bit at the beginning. And ads, emails, landing pages, you really need to grab that attention. So that hook from the AIDA framework works particularly well. So yeah, that is my number one tip to increase conversions. But the next chapter, which is probably my second most important tip to improve conversions, possibly the first, is product information. So I hear this a lot from B2B SaaS companies, founders, marketers, salespeople. I hear this all the time. When people see our product, they love it, but we're not getting enough demos. I hear that all the time. Super, super common. So what's the solution? You need to get more people to see the product before the demo. Sounds simple, but not many businesses are doing it, or a lot of businesses are not doing it well enough. You can excuse my AI image here, but he's absolutely loving the product. Whatever he's looking at, his eyes are popping out. Uh, so how can you get people to see and love the product before jumping on a demo? One way to do it, I want to show you 3 really good methods to do it with some nice examples. One way to do it is to use custom UI graphics and animated GIFs. So one of the biggest problems that I see on B2B SaaS websites is people have these horrible representations of their product on their website. They'll take screenshots of their platform and they'll just copy paste it onto their website, and it just looks awful. You find yourself as a website visitor leaning forward with your nose almost touching the monitor going, I can't really see what's going on with that platform shot. I can't read the font. Is that a menu? Is that, I think it's a graph. Ugh, I don't like the look of this. Looks confusing. I'm gone. And that's obviously where you don't want people to be, but that is so common. So what you want to do is you want to get a designer and you want to give them your platform screenshots, your UI, give them a demo, and then give them a brief to design really nice, slick platform shots purposely for your website. So they will take your screenshots and they will strip out all of the unnecessary detail. They'll pump up the font and they'll just give it a nice design lift to make it a bit more user-friendly. Obviously, you don't want to totally redesign it to make it completely left field from what the actual product looks like, but just give it a lift. And I'm going to show you an example in a minute. And then also bonus points, you can turn it into an animated GIF so it moves. So here's an example from the Slack website. Most of you know what the Slack website actually looks like, but this is what they've done on their homepage. They've created really beautiful animated GIFs of their platform. So if you're familiar with what Slack actually looks like, there's quite a lot going on. There's a lot of menus on the left-hand side, there's a lot of small font, there's a lot of buttons happening and just things going on. Whereas the designer here has just stripped out all the detail, increased the font size, and just given it a bit of a design lift. And then obviously they've got an animator to do like a 10-second animated GIF of someone using it, someone writing a message, the message going into the channel, someone flicking between the different channels. You know, it's just a really smooth, beautiful way of displaying the product. So what happens is that people are on the website, they're looking at this and they're going, that looks really slick. I understand exactly what it does instantly. It looks really user-friendly. I want to learn more. I want to have a demo of this product. So that's the power of it. A lot of people push back on me when I sort of suggest these things. They go, oh, well, if we show people exactly what the product looks like, maybe they won't book a demo. It's like, no, it's actually the other way around. If you show people how good the product is, that will entice people to book a demo. You can't shoehorn people to book a demo when they don't want to. You have to get them to like the product and think, yeah, this is right for me, and they will book a demo on their own terms. So that is how you get growth. So here's the screenshot of the full Slack website. This thing at the bottom is not animating because I just couldn't get the screenshot to animate, obviously. But that's where they positioned it on their homepage, right at the top of their homepage. Very product-led marketing. I go on a lot of B2B SaaS websites and they don't even show the product on the homepage, or maybe the product, you have to scroll halfway down the page, you see these tiny little screenshots, and it's just a bunch of words and they end up looking like consultancy businesses. You must lead with product-led marketing. If you are a product business, then you must show off the product more. And if it looks great, that's how you're going to get demos. Another example of interactive demos. So you can use tools like Storylane to build an interactive demo of your product. And you can add it to your homepage or your solutions page. We did this with one of our clients recently. We added a product demo on the solutions page and it increased demos by 30% just overnight. As soon as we uploaded it, demos were up 30%. They were getting about 90 demos a month. Then they pushed about 115 demos, and it's continued to do that for the last like 6 months or so. So these tools can be really, really powerful. So here's a quick example. It's sort of like a slideshow. You can't just click around the product wherever you want. You're guided and you're told where to click. And you've got these little thumbnails which tell you about what this particular feature or what this button does. So it's like a guided tour of the product, if you like. And yeah, these can be super powerful if you're struggling with your product marketing. It can really show off the product really, really well. And yeah, I've had numerous clients where these have increased demos. A lot of people, as I said earlier, get scared that it's going to reduce demos, but usually it's the other way around. As long as the product's good and you've got good product market fit, this will increase your lead gen. So yeah, these are great tools. Story Lane, it's pretty low cost. There's a free version, I think, and there's a low cost version. So check that out. Yeah, and that'll increase your conversion rates. And the other one is Loom video walkthroughs. So I recommend that if it's the right product for you, I don't recommend it to everybody, but you doing a sort of 2-3 minute walkthrough of your product on a tool like Loom. You could do either one overall video, or you could do one video for each of your main features, and that can just really help people see a walkthrough of the product and get them to start to know it, start to like it, start to trust it, and start to think, yeah, I'm going to book a demo of that. And one thing that you could do is, I've met a lot of people that they don't want to do a Loom video. They're not very good at presenting. They're not very good at navigating around the dashboard and presenting at the same time. They hate the sound of their own voice, you know, all those things you typically hear. So what we do a lot here at Rocket SaaS is that we get the founder or whoever to record the Loom video. Don't worry about the presenting style. Don't worry about the elevation of your voice, etc. Just do it. And then you can hire a presenter from Fiverr. So you hire a very professional presenter, give them the same script, exactly what you said, word for word, give them the video that you made, and task them to present exactly the words that you said in roughly the same pacing that you did it. And then you can get an animator to overlay their professional video on top of your Loom walkthrough. And then suddenly it just gives it such a professional lift. And you can do that at relatively low cost if you find the right person on Fiverr. So yeah, that's another recommendation, just to get that product-led marketing happening, to get people to see and love the product. So yeah, messaging, product-led marketing, those are the two biggest things I would say. But another big thing, how we move on to chapter 4, is unclear product fit. So very common problem is people come onto a website and they think, it looks good, but I'm not sure if it's quite right for me. So look at this poor confused lady here. She's just not quite sure if the product's right for her. So the solution is to create funnels for each of your target audience. Okay, so you start with web pages. So you create a web page dedicated to each of your target industries and or job titles. You may already be doing this already. You may already have an industries tab, but I'm going to give you other examples on future slides on how you can go a little bit deeper into that to really get product market fit for multiple different industries. But certainly start with a web page if you don't have that already, because what you're trying to achieve here is you're trying to get people to think, this was built for me. They built this product for my industry, for my job title. They're real experts in my space. I'm drawn to them. Like here at my agency, Rocket SaaS, most of the sales calls that we do, people say to us, oh, we're speaking to a couple of other agencies, but we really like you guys because you're B2B SaaS focused. That's your niche. So we really like you. We're going to work with you. And that's what we want to do with you guys. So you don't have to fully niche your business into one industry like I did, but what you can stay broad. But if you do stay broad, then you must create different funnels for each of your industries that you're targeting or each of your job titles, so that you do have people thinking, yeah, this was built for me. So you create different web pages, you tailor your messaging to be very focused on that particular industry or job title and talk about their challenges, their pain points. You might want to highlight or reorder some of your features. Maybe on your homepage or your main solution pages, you've got this one leading feature, but actually when you're speaking to the construction industry, they actually value the other feature a bit higher. So you just reorder things a little bit, have very specific use cases, handpick your case studies, testimonials, all to be for that particular industry, that particular niche. So for example, from PandaDoc here, so if you don't know PandaDoc, they're like a document signing software, same as Adobe Sign or DocuSign. So they're industry agnostic. They target everybody, but they've built a series of landing pages, a series of web pages like this, and this one is targeting real estate businesses. So if you work for a real estate company and you came onto this web page as the first web page that you landed on, and you'd never heard of PandaDocs before, you'd be like, wow, these guys are purpose built for me. I'm a real estate person, brilliant. I'm really drawn to this tool. I'm not going to go with Adobe Sign because they look really broad. These guys really understand me and my problems and my pain points. I like it. I feel comfortable looking at this brand, and that's how you want people to feel. So you got that web page, and you want to create similarly niched ad creatives and drive targeted traffic. So you want to drive highly targeted traffic to your highly targeted landing pages. So typically LinkedIn ads, possibly Meta ads, but it's mainly going to be LinkedIn ads because the targeting can be so specific there. So you create different LinkedIn ads, create different LinkedIn ad campaigns for your different industries, different job titles, and also it can benefit your Google ads as well with like specific keywords, best CRM for e-commerce, for example. But you want to create ads like this. So this is one of our clients, is one of the ads that we did where we were really targeting a specific job title. Our client here, they target lots of different job titles and different industries, but this particular ad, we particularly wanted to target health and safety officers. So you can see in massive font, we put health and safety officers. So if you were a health and safety officer and you were scrolling through your LinkedIn and you saw that, you would likely stop and go, oh, well, health and safety officer, that's me. That was purpose built for me. And then you read the other text, you click on the button, you come onto the page and off you go. So being very, very targeted can really, really work. Because otherwise, if I was a health and safety officer and I imagine if the small text was the big text and we didn't have this health and safety officer thing, they'd probably scroll right past it. But you're just calling out people saying like, this is for you. And that's how you get a lot of clicks. And that's how you then get conversions. Another example here, we're just calling out the industry, HR, this person right here. And hopefully HR people see that ad and go, yep, that's me. I'm struggling with these problems. I'm going to click on this ad. I'm going to learn more because this is designed for me. I'm feeling quite special. That's the mindset you want people to get in. So ads to targeted landing pages, but don't stop there. Don't just do ads and landing pages. A lot of people are doing that already. You also want to go a step further than that. You really want to build out the funnel. You want targeted case studies, targeted use cases, testimonials, also lead magnets. Things like webinars, guides, scorecards, templates, checklists. So HubSpot, for example, we all know HubSpot. HubSpot are completely industry agnostic, but they've got this webinar here. Supercharge your growth with the best CRM for construction. So construction industries, they feel very special. They think, yep, HubSpot, they understand us. Brilliant. So yeah, just build out each of these funnels for your target audiences. The more people feel attuned with your brand, the more likely they are to convert. This is all about percentages and how you can increase things. So that's another great example of how to do that. The other one, social proof. So many businesses are just not putting enough effort into gathering social proof. But that's crazy when you look at the facts. So here's some stats on social proof. Case studies and testimonials can increase conversion rates by up to 34%. 92% of consumers trust recommendations from individuals, even if they don't know them, over branded content. Including a testimonial on your landing page can increase conversion rates by 10 to 20%. So the facts are there. They literally are proven to increase conversion rates. So you must put the effort in to get more social proof. So how to collect powerful social proof. So I always like to repurpose content. You've got the benefit of AI and how that can support you. So I'll walk you through how I like to get social proof. So you start with a video interview and then repurpose it into multiple formats. I apologize again for my terrible AI image there. But if you've got a happy customer, you want to reach out to them, or your customer success person reaches out to them and you say, hey, I know you've been using our product for a while. I know you've been getting great results. I know that you're happy. Would you mind just jumping on a 10, 15-minute interview with me? I promise not to take up too much of your time. It would really help us scale the business. If we can return the favor in any way, let us know. Most people are nice. Most people will say yes. If you ask 10 people, at least 7 people are going to say yes, I would like to think. So you get them on a quick call, assure them it's only going to be quick. If you say it's going to be half an hour, no, thank you. Assure them like 10 minutes. You can get this done in 10 minutes. Skip the small talk, get straight into it, and that'll just make them feel at ease. Yeah, sure, everyone's got 10 minutes. So get them on an interview, ask them lots of questions, ask them. So the framework I like to use is, where were you? What was your kind of position before you met us? What were you struggling with? What were your frustrations? And so that's the first thing. Second thing is, why were you attracted to our solution? What was it about our solution that drew you to us, that made you want to purchase from us? And then three, what are the results that you achieved since you started using our platform, since you started working with us? Right, so that's the interview. You want to make sure that this is recorded. You should ideally you would use a platform called Riverside, because then you get really high definition video. If you record it on Zoom or Google Meets, the quality is not going to be great, because I want you to turn these into videos. So Riverside is a great tool for that, but you can do it on Google or Zoom if you want, but the quality won't quite be as there. And you also need a note taker, so an AI note taker to be added, like a Otter, or I use Fathom, for example. And then you want to repurpose. So once you've got that 10, 15-minute interview, you can create the long form video, which is like the whole thing. It's not that long, it's only 10, 15 minutes, but you've got that whole video there. And that can be uploaded to your website. The case study article page is a good place to put it. You can even stick it on YouTube as well, if the client's happy for you to do so. You can also repurpose the long form video into short video snippets. You can use a tool called Descript, or what's the other one called? Opus Clip is one that we use. There's a bunch of other ones that can basically take a long form video and just create little small snippets that are brilliant for social media, brilliant for LinkedIn organic content, brilliant for LinkedIn ads, meta ads, works brilliantly in the retargeting funnel. So after someone's come onto your website, then they're scrolling their LinkedIn, they start seeing testimonials of that business that they just visited. It works really, really well. So I recommend you do those two things with video. Then obviously you can get a case study article. That's one of the key things we're trying to get here. That's why I said you've got to add the note taker. So when you add the note taker, if you've got your client speaking for 15 minutes, you're probably going to get around 1,500 words in the note taker. So just copy and paste that into ChatGPT, ask it to create a case study article, obviously give it a few more prompts of the structure and the things that you want it to add, and it will create a brilliant case study article, just like that. And then you can extract testimonials. What I mean by testimonials is quotes. So again, you can ask ChatGPT to extract like the top 10 quotes, like testimonial statements that the person said. And when you've got those, you can add those all across your website. You can give it to a designer to turn it into an ad creative or an organic creative. And then finally, it's a little bit cheeky, but after the interview's finished, if it went well, if they seem to be in a good mood, you could say, "Oh, thank you so much. That was absolutely brilliant. Do you mind if I ask one more cheeky thing? I don't suppose you would mind leaving us that positive review on G2, Capterra, Trustpilot, wherever you're trying to build up most of your social social reviews." So that's my framework on how to get really good social proof. It just starts with a 10, 15-minute interview, and then with the support of AI and various tools, suddenly you've got a ton of content that can be used all across your marketing: LinkedIn, Meta, website, YouTube, everywhere. So like I said, if you ask 10 people, you hopefully get 7 people saying yes, and then you just got a ton of really good social proof content. And if you get that on the site, get that in the marketing, get that into the funnels, get that out there with ads, that will increase your conversion percentages, I guarantee. Right. The other thing I want you to do is push for all case studies to have a fact or a stat, because numbers are very eye-catching and numbers are very measurable. So one of our clients here, this is the screenshot from their customer stories page, Digital Genius, this brand is called. You can see every single one of their case studies. I'm showing you 6 here. On the actual website, I think there's more like 15, 20. Every single one has got a fact or a stat. And it's the first thing in every header. And the reason is because it's just very eye-catching, and it's very measurable, and it feels very real. You've probably seen loads of case studies and customer success stories that says, "Oh, this client loves working with us, and this client has had real value from our product." It's like, yeah, great, but doesn't sound very real, doesn't sound very tangible. It could have just been a favor that they've done for you. Whereas when you start to read facts and stats like this, 93% reduction in customer wait time, 46% of tickets automated, it doesn't feel like wishy-washy anymore. It sounds like a real fact of how the business improved. So that makes you think, yeah, I want those numbers to have the same impact on my business. So how would my business improve if 46% of my tickets were automated? So very, very powerful. But I know what some of you might be thinking. Some of you might be thinking, well, my product isn't so measurable. The outputs aren't particularly, I don't really have facts and stats that naturally come out of the product. But you will have something. Like if you interview people and you can ask them. So for example, you can say like, how much has your business grown since you started working with us? So the client might say, yeah, no, we've worked with you for a year now. Our business has grown 33% in revenue. Yeah, I'd take that. I'd say, this since working with us, this company has scaled and we've played a key role in that scaling journey. You could also ask them things like, you can get them to estimate. You could say, so our tool has saved you a lot of time. If you could estimate how much admin time do you think you've saved since we've implemented our solution, and just try and push them for a number. Then they'll probably say, oh, yeah, probably something like maybe 30%. Great. Take that and run with it. 30% reduced admin time since using our tool, says the CEO. So there's always some kind of percentages that you can probably grab, or at least get estimations from the person that you're getting testimonials from. And yeah, getting facts and stats in there is proven to increase conversion rates. And then when you've got all this lovely social proof, you want to get it everywhere. I see a lot of businesses that have brilliant case studies and they're just like hidden. They're like right at the bottom of the resources page, or stuck like near the footer of the homepage. You want to get them everywhere. They are, I've said it loads already, they are proven to increase conversion rates. So get them everywhere. Put social proof across all of your web pages. And I mean all of them. I see a lot of businesses, a lot of websites that have blogs on every single page of their website, but they don't have case studies or testimonial on every single page of the website. And I think, well, why is that? Like, blogs, yeah, that can improve SEO, but case studies and testimonials and things like these badges here, that can improve conversions. So you want to be really spreading your social proof everywhere because it's so valuable. Right, next up, how to fix no immediate value. So this is a good one. Okay. Offering quick wins will increase your lead gen and get people into the funnel. If people come onto your site and they think, oh, it's going to take ages to get any value out of this, I'm not going to bother doing it now. If you can offer immediate value, then you're going to start to get conversion. So try and give away data for free. Like obviously not every business can do this, but if you're in the world of like data and giving away some kind of reporting tool or forecasting or auditing, or just giving people something, try and give some of that something away for free. I'll give you an example in a minute. Or offer a free audit, a free assessment, a free consulting call, and also rethink your free trial. A lot of people do free trials. A lot of people on this call will be offering a free trial and a classic like 14 or 30-day free trial. And there's often other ways you can do a free trial. You can do a forever free option. So you massively reduce the features and you limit the product, but it's forever free. And people get very enticed into a forever free model. Everyone knows that a free trial is a free trial. We obviously all know how that works, but forever free, yeah, that sounds really enticing. So you could potentially play around with that. But yeah, an example of giving away things for free. So Cognism, one of the fastest growing B2B SaaS brands in the world, they have a really good lead magnet where they basically say, get your hands on 25 enriched leads for free. If you don't know what Cognism are, they give away free data like email addresses and phone calls that you can use in like cold outbound sequences. So they're literally giving away snippets for free. You could even do things like if you were some kind of like data forecasting tool, you could say if you upload kind of some of your data or some of your projects, we can give you a free forecasting tool. Just trying to give some of it for free is basically giving people immediate value, and that can really ramp up your conversion rate. HubSpot, they're obviously the kings of content creation. They're always giving away so much free guides and free assessment tools and free templates. That's the main reason how they've rapidly scaled their business. Another one here is Varonis. So they're like a cybersecurity business. So they do a free cybersecurity assessment. You just fill out a form and they'll do a free assessment of your cybersecurity, and they'll tell you all of the holes that you've got in your business. And then obviously, if they find loads of holes, then you're probably quite likely to want to work with them. So yeah, don't just have everything within your solutions. Try to give free assessments, free audits. My business here, Rocket SaaS, our number one lead magnet for the last two and a half years has been the free marketing strategy call. We don't just say, "Oh, jump on a call with us and we'll sell and we'll pitch to you." We say, "Jump on a call with us and we'll give you free advice on how you can scale your business with better marketing." There's no obligation to work with us. We'll just give you some free advice. Obviously, not doing that solely from the good of our hearts. We're doing that because it's a great lead magnet. We do help some people and they don't work with us. That's fine. But some people that we do help, they think, yeah, really like those guys. I want to work with them. So that is a brilliant lead magnet. And then finally, the example of a forever free plan. So Hotjar, a lot of you would be familiar with Hotjar. A lot of people will be using Hotjar. It's a tool that can monitor your kind of website traffic and heat mapping and all those things. So I think they used to do a free trial. It's like a 30-day free trial, but they changed it to be a forever free plan, but they massively limited it so you can only track 35 sessions a day. But it's such an enticing offer, that forever free, that just gets so many leads. And then, a lot of people, they stay forever free because they're small, but a lot of businesses, they grow and they really like the tool and they want to get more than 35 sessions and they scale up. So that model works particularly well for them because it provides people with immediate value and it has a great upsell potential. Also, outlining the financial benefit. So another stat for you, 70% of B2B buyers report that they are more likely to engage with content that helps them understand the financial benefit of a product. It's about money at the end of the day. If you're thinking of buying something, you got to think, okay, I'm going to spend this much money. Am I going to get this return? If you don't feel you've got that confidence in your head, you're not going to buy it. So how do we get people to understand the financial value? ROI calculator is a classic. Doesn't work for every business, but for a lot of businesses, it makes perfect sense. So I think I've already said, what businesses don't convert because they don't feel they're getting value for money. So if you build something like this is the example from HubSpot where they ask you questions about your industry, your region, your currency, how many website visitors you get, how many deals you get per month, and then it gives you this big, massive number, what you could potentially get a return on your investments. And these sorts of things, they genuinely improve conversion rates. So I would say for most B2B SaaS businesses, because you are in the industry of saving people time, and obviously time equals money, that you can try and articulate that to people with an ROI calculator. So how many staff do you have at the moment? How much time are you spending on particular exercises? And then you can do some maths in the background, like if the average person is on this salary, therefore you're spending this much time, therefore it's costing the business this amount of money. With our platform, we're proven to reduce this admin time by 45%. You do the maths and then it shows you the saving. So that is a great way to get more leads into the business. We did one recently as part of a competitor comparison campaign. So we said, if you are currently with this massive provider that most of the people in the market were with, you have to enter in this box, how much are you paying them per year for your license? And then you press submit. And then we just reduced that number by 25%. And we said, we can sell you our version of the product for 25% less than what you're paying now, because that was what the sales team said that they were happy to match. And that was a really successful campaign. So ROI calculators can really prove that financial value, which is often the final bit that you need to get someone over the edge to convert. Retargeting ads. I think I've got some more stats for you here. It's all about the stats today. 26% of retargeted users are more likely to convert compared to people who have never visited your site before. Multiple platform retargeting, i.e. hitting them from different angles, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, results in a 23% more conversions than single platform retargeting. And retargeting can reduce your cost per acquisition by as much as 50%. So these are massive stats, and these are massive stats that are really going to impact your conversion rate and your lead gen. If you purely focus on getting new cold traffic onto your website with like cold email and LinkedIn ads and Facebook ads and SEO to just a new audience, you're going to struggle to increase the conversion percentage, because cold people that have come onto your site for the first time don't convert. You have to get them coming back. So don't just focus on cold traffic, focus on retargeting to bring people back onto the website. I would say what we do here at Rocket SaaS is approximately 30% of the ad budget is spent on retargeting. So 70% is spent on getting new people to come onto the site for the first time. 30% of the budget is to get people back. And that, when you get people back, that's where you get the conversions. So if like 30% of your traffic on your website is people that are coming onto it for the second, third, fourth, fifth time, that's hugely going to increase your conversion percentage. So you must really focus on bringing people back. So if you don't know what retargeting is, how it works, someone comes onto your site, then they leave your site, and then there's a cookie that's on their browser. So next time they go onto their LinkedIn or their Instagram or their Facebook, they see your ad. And they go, oh, it's an ad for that website I visited yesterday. Then they come back. And then they just keep going in that cycle until they convert. So retargeting is a massive topic. I could do a whole webinar on that. What I am going to do is, I'm not going to do that, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give you my free guide. It's not gated. You can go onto our website, rocket-saas.io/retargeting, and you can download this guide. So it's got this whole infographic here with descriptions of how it all works and how to set it up. There's also a Loom video from me kind of walking you through it. And that's a really good kind of introduction to retargeting ads if you've not done it before. It's more of an introduction. It's a bit more kind of intermediate level retargeting ads. So if you are doing basic retargeting ads and you're just doing sort of one layer of retargeting, then this is more of, I think it's a 5-layer approach that is proven to work really well. So check that out, rocket-saas.io/retargeting. And yeah, let's summarize. We're going to do some Q&A. I think there's some questions come through, but before we do that, let's summarize everything. So I want you to focus on improving conversion rates before you spend more money on traffic. And I would actually go as far as to say, if you are spending money on ads and it's just not working, then turn them off. Like, stop wasting your money. Stop wasting your money like hoping it's going to convert. Just pause the ad spend, fix the holes in the bucket, then turn the ad spend back on. You know, save that budget, put it into a designer, an animator, a copywriter, whatever, and then turn the ads back on. You should be using the frameworks that I gave you to have a crystal clear messaging and value proposition. I can't exaggerate that enough. Get more people to see and use the product early on in the buying journey. Create niche content so people think, yeah, this was built for me. Brilliant. Prioritize social proof. Offer immediate value and outline the financial value, and increase conversion rates with retargeting ads. If you do those things, you will get more conversions, you will get more leads, and you will scale your business. So if you liked all the things that I was saying there, but you think, I don't have the time, I don't have the expertise, I don't have the skills to do that, you can work with me and you can work with my agency, because those are the sorts of things that we do to help SaaS businesses scale. We work with B2B SaaS businesses that either don't have anybody in marketing and we become your whole marketing department, or if you've already got a couple of people in marketing already, we become an extension of your team to bolster your resources. So when you work with us, you get a head of SaaS marketing strategy, a marketing executive to keep things moving, a LinkedIn ads expert, Google ads expert, content creator, designer, and a website developer. So you literally get a team of 7 people to help you scale your SaaS business. We will first of all map out the strategy, then we'll develop the content, we'll run all of your ad platforms, we'll build lead magnets for you, and we'll do all of those conversion rate optimization things that I've mentioned today. That's what we specialize in for B2B SaaS companies. So if you really want to scale your business and you want to work with us, go to rocket-saas.io. You can do a free strategy call with me. We'll talk about your business, your pain points, your problems, and I'll map you out what I think we should do for your business. Then we'll get your proposal and we'll go from there. But there we go. Let's do a Q&A. I need to take a glass of water before I do that. I think we're on pretty good time. Yeah, 10 minutes to go. Right, let's see what we got here. What are the best ways to increase traffic if you've not got enough? Okay, so obviously today we talked about increasing conversions with your existing traffic, but if you've got the issue of you just don't have the traffic, all the stuff I've talked about today is still relevant for you. You need to do that first and then work on getting traffic. But look, the best way is to get traffic. If you're a startup, I presume that you are, and you don't have any brand awareness, you don't have any followers, then the quickest way to get traffic is going to be with ads. Meta ads is pretty low cost. Google ads has got high intent. LinkedIn ads is expensive. So if you've got the budget to run ads, that's the quickest way to do it. If you don't have much budget, cold email is probably the first place that I would start. It's quite complicated to do. Cold emails, a lot of things to it, but I'm sure you can figure it out. And that's a great, relatively low cost way to get a lot of traffic to the site. Obviously, you've got longer form ways of getting traffic, SEO, organic content, social media. But my tip, if you wanted like a kind of, not one of the classics that I just mentioned, a tip to get a lot of traffic to the site if you don't have much money, is to piggyback off of somebody else's audience. So for example, you take a look at another business, maybe a partner or a friend or a client or someone that you know on LinkedIn that is not a competitor, but they're targeting the same people that you're targeting. Try and do a co-hosted webinar with them. Say, like, we're going after the same people here. We're not competing. Let's do a webinar together where we talk about how technology is changing the industry and how we're going about it and how you're going about it. And then the beauty of that is that when you get them to promote it to their network, their LinkedIn, their email newsletter, they might even put some ad budget into it. Boom, suddenly you've got 100 odd people attending your webinar and it's not cost you anything because the other companies bought their audience to you. So that is a bit of a tip, I would say, for getting traffic at a low cost if you've got a low budget. Other questions, what we got here. What about adding lead magnets to increase conversion rates? Yeah, so obviously adding lead magnets will increase conversion rates, but I only really care about the conversions that make a difference, that make you more money. So demos, free trials, sales calls. You know, it's all very well saying, oh, we increased our conversion rates by 10% because we added in a gated ebook or a webinar. But if those leads don't turn into, you know, bottom of the funnel people that are booking demos, etc., and then giving you money, then it doesn't really matter, does it? So all the things that I'm telling you today is mainly about getting those leads that really matter. But yeah, if you do have really strong lead magnets and you get people into the funnel and then they convert, or particularly retargeting. So people have attended a webinar, downloaded the guide, then you do retargeting ads, so they come back onto the website, then yeah, that's a good thing. But today I was really focusing on the more high intent lead generators. Another one here. Can you give me some examples of how to fix my messaging, because we are still really struggling with that? So yeah, obviously I gave you those frameworks earlier, but that was just like one piece of messaging. Messaging is a big thing. So my recommendation would be a book called Obviously Awesome, written by an author called April Dunford, and she's brilliant. So she's written a whole book about how to create messaging. I think it is actually about product-led businesses in terms of how you should describe your product, how you should build a value proposition, how you can make your product stand out from competitors. And it's kind of like a 10-step exercise, which I find really, really valuable. And we've done that exercise with our clients and we found great value in that. So yeah, April Dunford, Obviously Awesome. Check that one out. Let's have a look. Other questions here. What's your feeling about standing out with brand messaging on site? It's often difficult to juggle versus the more straight talking, what is what it is approach, with worries that will blend into the background, or is it just a vanity legit concern? Okay, let me just reread that off. Something to do a job. Well, I think having the it is what it is approach, the does what it says in the tin approach, that's what I always go for with my messaging. I think if you're trying to stand out with your messaging, you're in danger of going into the territory of using buzzwords. So always start with the does what it says in the tin approach is the best advice I can give you with the messaging. And I would also really try and connect with your customers' pain points. So don't just talk about yourselves. Don't just talk about us and this is our features, these are our benefits that we give our customers. This is our solution. These are our case studies. Talk to them and talk to the audience. So on a homepage of a website, like if you look at my website, rocket-saas.io, I think right under the hero banner, there's 3 icons that says, are you suffering from these problems? And that's what I'm trying to do, is connect with the audience on an emotional level. If you can connect with people and they think, yep, these guys understand me because these are my problems that I care about. These are the problems that are keeping me up at night. If I don't fix these problems, I might lose my job. I might get fired. And that's like really powerful place that you want people to be in. And people don't feel that way when you just talk about your products. When you talk about my problems, that's how you connect with me. What are your thoughts on growth marketing services doing cold outbound email? Cold email is tough. I did mention earlier it's a low cost way to get traffic to the site. I would do cold email if I was starting a new business and I had no budget and I couldn't afford to do ads and I couldn't afford to do all the marketing stuff that I talked about. But cold email is really tough. Everybody hates it. It's getting worse and worse all the time. I've only seen cold email work effectively when you are genuinely offering people value. So for example, I think one of the slides later in this presentation, I mentioned offering like a free assessment, a free consultation. So if you create a really good offer that was like, hey, I've been on your website, I've noticed there's a few sort of cybersecurity issues that you potentially have. We're doing a free cybersecurity scan and audit report. We're only going to do this for 5 businesses per month. It's completely free, no obligation to work together. Would you like me to send that over to you? That's the sort of thing that gets lots of responses. You don't get many responses to cold email by saying, hey, first name, we have got this product that solves this problem. Click here to do a free trial. You're really going to struggle with that. You need a much better hook. Also something higher up the funnel, like even cold emails, even webinars. So I invite people to this webinar using cold email and we get quite a lot of responses. So more like just giving value rather than trying to flog your products on cold email is the way to do it. Another one here. If you were just starting out, would you lean more towards cold outreach? I think I've already answered that one. If I had no money, I would do cold outreach. But it's a tough game. So ideally you can raise some funding and run some ads is how most of my clients scale. What's your recommendation solution for attributing influence revenue for closed opportunities? What's your recommended solution for attributing influenced revenue for closed opportunities? I'm not sure if I completely understand the question, but there's a tool called Fibbler, which is really awesome. So in terms of when you're running LinkedIn, a lot of companies run LinkedIn ads and they turn it off because they say it's too expensive. We're not getting attribution from it. Whereas there's a tool called Fibbler, which can tell you which companies are clicking on your LinkedIn ads or engaging with your LinkedIn ads or even viewing your LinkedIn ads. And they're not filling out the form, they're not converting, but they're engaging with the ads and they're seeing the ads. And then they are coming back onto your website through another door and then converting. Or maybe your salesperson's called them up. And you can basically start to attribute your ads to the successes and to the sales that you're having, even if they don't convert from an ad. So Fibbler, I checked that out. I hope I've explained that well. But that takes us to the end of time. I hope you've enjoyed that webinar. I hope you found value from it. If you wanted to recap it, I will be emailing it to everybody that's attended this call. And yeah, thank you so much. If you want to learn more about me and us, check out the SaaS Marketing Weekly podcast, check out the Rocket SaaS website, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the next one. But have a great day. Speak soon.